we had a children's center inside our visit rooms in New York State. And
Yeah.
so I was what you call a child caregiver. So I worked
What?
in those children's centers. And so what we did in those children's centers were we because it was an organization that's called the Osborne Association
Hmm.
in New York State, that's based in New York State, and they cater to incarcerated parents' children. And so they bring your child up. If you don't have anyone to bring your child up, they get you
Yeah.
acclimated with your child and bring that
That.
child up once
Yeah.
every other month on a visit or once a month on a visit, things like that. And so I worked for them in the facility. And so, working in there, that was like the best time of my life,
Oh,
growing up, period, because I was able to identify the mother and the father, or if it was just the grandmother that brought the son to see the son, or the daughter to see the son that was in there with me. We were able to provide these strategic things in this children's center
I love it.
inside the visit room. We was able to provide these things so that they can communicate with each other, to
Yeah.
communicate that it won't just be them sitting down at a table and getting bored, and
Hmm.
the child is just sitting there, and the father is trying to talk to the grandmother or the mother or the wife or the sister, whatever it is, and the son gets irritated and want to run around. So before there were children center, there was a lot of that,
Yeah.
where the corrections would try to discipline the child for wanting to
Yeah.
just run around because they can't stay in one place for too
No, not
long,
at all.
the children. So, that was a good thing that happened for New York State Prison. And
Yes.
I I uh I put down for that, I
So
put
did
down
you
for
do
that
some
job
training?
right away.
Did you do some
No
training
question,
for that?
no question, no question.
Yeah,
You
tell
heard?
us about it.
No doubt. So
Because I want
so
I want this program everywhere. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, no
Yeah.
question about it. So they definitely they have classes, a lot of classes and programs that they put you through. You know,
Okay.
parenting classes,
Hmm.
family classes, relationship classes,
Yeah.
that you go through. So that was one of the things that you had to take their classes in order to work in their children's center.
And
Like
it
you
was
had to
worth it,
get
wasn't
some.
it?
No question. That was
Oh,
like I said,
yeah.
that was the best time of my growth and development in life. Period.
Oh,
Because I love children. You know what I mean? I love doing what I do. And
how old were you when you first started that?
when I first started it, oh man, you don't do that, Sarita. We live.
Come on.
I
Let me
was
know.
nah. I would say I was 20, 20, 30. I was about 30,
Okay.
33 or something like that, 32,
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
32. Because see, they when they started getting acclimated in the facilities, I came through the facility in 1993. And where I was placed at, the facility I was placed in up north in New York State, they didn't have the children's center.
Mm.
You had to work your way down to these more progressive prisons after you
Okay.
after you stayed up north for a little while. And
Okay.
so, when I put in my transfer after being up north for 10 years or whatever it was, and going to these other places like a place called Green Haven Correctional Facility and Sing Sing Correctional Facility. They had these children's centers,
Nice.
Fishkill Correctional Facilities. And so, I knew a brother that I grew up with, brother named Amenta. He's from out of Buffalo, New York. Peace and blessings to Amenta. He's home as well. He served
Yeah.
27 years as well. And
Mhm.
it went to prison when he was 16, when he was a baby.
Mhm.
But he's doing real good now. He has a child, has his first son, and he's doing real good. Times are looking great for him.
Good.
And I remember when, he was there before me at this prison, Sing Sing, and as soon as I got there, he was working in the children's center, and right away that was a no-brainer for me. That was my pick right
Yeah.
there. I'm gonna
Oh
work in
yeah.
there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna be working in there. So I took the necessary steps that I had to take to work in a children's center as a child caregiver.
That's awesome. Let me tell you about Patch. Okay, so Patch program, similar training. It is 5 weeks, 10 classes, 2 classes a week, and you're learning basically early childhood development. Because when I got out, I'm a student at University of Missouri, and here we say Mizou, Mizzou. Okay, so I
No
was so
question.
happy to get in there because I had a lot of transfer credits before I went to prison. So while I was in prison, I'm taking this patch program and I'm learning all of early childhood psychology. Like there's authoritative, authoritarian, permissive, uninvolved parenting. These are all different parenting styles. So every time that you need to renew your certificate every year, you take these same classes. So when I got out, clearly one of my first classes at Mizzou was early childhood psychology. Since I
Mm-hmm.
was so versed in it, let's just say I got a good grade. But these are the things they're teaching us while we're incarcerated. So I'm getting more tools, and I just hope everybody has a chance to visit the website, www.chillicothepatch.org. There's a video to this day of my son, and you'll see me in prison. I had about 6 chins. I've only got 2 now. It was all the carbs.
Nice. That's right.
Regardless, yeah, and I was hugging
I've
him up
seen
and
that
loving
too.
on him. Yeah, loving
That's
on him.
right.
And he was talking about, he said there was a point where he realized his mom had more tools in her toolbox. I got those from Patch. You know what I'm saying? I got those from a program that helped me to be a human being because I'm somebody too.
That's right.
Yeah, I
Facts.
came out and kicked open the door because I
That's
had
right.
a support and I knew that my family, my family was there for me. And we can all talk. This is crazy. I'm just gonna say it like it is. You can always talk a good game while you're incarcerated. I'm gonna get out and do this. I'm gonna get out and do that. But let me tell you, one of the founding things, and I said this earlier today in another podcast on my own show. Yes, check me out on YouTube,
That's
Syreta
right.
Talks. I hate to
Sarita
be
talk.
schmoozy, but like, subscribe, and share. Syreta
Always.
Talks.
Let's
Yeah, but I
do it.
said this too. I slept good at night for the most part because I knew where my child was. Now, prison is never easy, but if you worry about your family and your children, then you do hard time. And people that do hard time don't come out redeemed. They don't come out. Sometimes they can, but they don't come out with the best mental health. So I'm saying everybody's worried about recidivism. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's talk about recidivism. Okay, who won the Super Bowl this year, Eric?
Don't get me. Don't get me. I'm too
Kansas City
busy.
Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs won.
Nah,
Okay, so
KC,
Andy
we
Reid
know.
has a son named Britt Reid. Now I'm about to blow your hairline back. Okay, so Britt
Mm-hmm.
Reid, this is news, but it was just quick news in Missouri. On March 1st, his sentence was commuted. Now let me tell you what the man's sentence was. Okay, this is Britt Reid, the son of the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, who just won the Super Bowl. Now I'm
That's
never
right.
going to tear somebody down to lift others up, but in this moment, let me tell you what he did. So he was on drugs and he was drinking and he hit a
Yeah.
parked car with a little girl in it. That little girl is brain dead. He got
Yes.
sentenced to 3 years. Is his 3 years? No, that's okay. The governor commuted his sentence. Now, so I decided, oh my God, that's ridiculous. Let me Google search his name. Him and his brother got arrested and were supposed to spend 8 months in jail. I don't know if they ever did because they had so much drugs where they were living. It was called a drug emporium. He was in a road rage incident where he put a gun to another man's head years later. A few years down the line, another case of drinking and drugging and driving. That is recidivism. That
Definitely.
is a recidivist. And you
That's a fact.
commute his sentence? What makes this man so special? Now, I'm never going to tear down the lift up, but I'm going to say it right now. The people with money, the people with prestige, How come they're getting their sentences commuted, but no one is saying the names of my friends who, when they called me, I could hear it in their voices. Syreta, did you see what happened? Did you see how they let this man out? When clemencies, commutations, that all sits on a governor's desk. My paperwork's been on his desk for years. My paperwork's been on his desk for years. I know people have been locked up since the 80s, still locked up 30, 40,
That's
20
right.
years.
Yep.
So I you know what? And I don't care if anybody, I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. I want people to get out. I want people to get out who are deserving. People who didn't repeat offend. There goes my light. Give me 1 minute.
Listen, and that's why we support things like, you know, community, not cages. You know,
Yes.
we support these things. And I would say, you know, to that, you know, this is what it is. Like we not blinded by this. This is what it is. This just what it is. So what do we do? You know, as an individual, as, you know, a collective.
Absolutely. And this is what I'm doing. I'm telling.
That's right. That's right.
On blast.
That's right. Because just let me tell you that's this. Right. We here to highlight. Highlight because that's what.
And let me highlight this. This person is waiting. Let me tell you some people whose paperwork's on the governor's desk. Teresa Cummings, over 20 years for a crime committed for a man that she was with. Brenda Williams, been locked up over 20 years for eyewitness testimony, said it was a 5'7" white woman. She's barely 5'1". The only thing she had in common with the person they described is that she's white too. Verna Jones been under a 50-year stipulation where she has to serve 50 years before she's even eligible for parole. Her and her son. Miss Shirley Phillips, the oldest woman in Missouri DOC. She's 80 plus years old, been locked up for over 40 years. So can any of them get commuted? Can they go home? What are they lacking? Money, prestige.
And I'm quite sure it's a lot of them that's still in there and that has rehabilitated themselves.
Yeah, all of them. I would not say their name if they weren't. Now I just named 4 people, maybe 5 people who I know right now who are languishing in prison. And let me tell you, everybody that I just named is either, I want to say Teresa Cummings is almost 60. Everyone that I named is over 60 years old, ranging from 60 to 89 years old. 89 means next year you're going to be 90. That's Shirley Phillips.